Welcome to MindSpeak, where you learn English through the most shocking true stories of powerful people. I'm Tony, and today's story will blow your mind. Imagine this. You start a company in your garage. You build it from zero to millions. You become a millionaire at age 25. Then one day, the board calls you. They say 4 words. You are fired. Leave. Fired. From your own company, the company you created. Most people would give up. Most people would hide. Most people would never recover. But this man did not just recover. He came back and built the most valuable company in human history. $3 trillion. That's $3,000 billion. B-roll, Apple logo, stock price chart going up. His name? Steve Jobs. But here's what nobody tells you. Steve was not a nice person. He yelled at people. He made them cry. He was called a tyrant. So how did a bad boss change the world? That's the secret you'll learn today. In the next 15 minutes, you will discover 3 things. Number 1, the real reason Steve got fired. It's not what you think. Number 2, the billion-dollar lesson he learned from failure. You can use this tomorrow. Number 3, why being nice might be killing your dreams right now. And if you watch until the end, I'll reveal Steve's secret morning routine that made him a genius. Nobody talks about this. By the time this video ends, you will never see success the same way again. So if you're ready, comment the number 1 right now. And type, "I will not quit" in the comments. Let's make a promise together. Let's begin. February 24th, 1955. San Francisco, California. A baby boy is born, but his parents do not want him. Let me say that again. His own parents gave him away. Steve Jobs was adopted, not because of poverty, not because of war. His biological mother was unmarried. That was the reason. Paul and Clara Jobs took baby Steve home. Paul fixed cars. Clara did paperwork. They were simple people. Good people. But here's the shocking part. Steve's biological mother made them sign a legal paper. The paper said, "You must send this boy to college." She wanted to make sure her son got education, even though she gave him away. Remember this detail. It becomes important later. Young Steve grew up in Los Altos, California. This place was special. Engineers everywhere. Garages full of electronic parts. Innovation was in the air. But Steve was a nightmare at school. He was bored. Super bored. He asked too many questions. Teachers got annoyed. One teacher told his parents, "Your son is a troublemaker. He will never succeed." Wrong. So wrong. Then came Mrs. Hill. Imogene Hill, 4th grade teacher. She saw something nobody else saw. Potential. She bribed Steve with candy and money. Finish your math, get $5. Simple. Effective. Steve later said, "She saved me. I would have ended up in jail without her." Did you know? Steve Jobs said this himself. "I was headed toward being a total juvenile delinquent. One teacher changed everything." Who is that one person who believed in you? Drop their name in the comments right now. Let's honor them together. Age 12. Steve's father shows him their garage. "This is your space now. Build whatever you want." That garage became a laboratory. Steve took apart radios. He studied circuits. He learned something powerful. Technology is not just function. Technology is art. This idea would later make him billions. High school, Steve meets Steve Wozniak. Everyone calls him Woz. 2 Steves, complete opposites. Steve Jobs, loud, pushy, impatient, visionary. Woz, quiet, gentle, technical genius. Together, unstoppable. They built illegal devices to make free phone calls. Yes, illegal. They were hackers before hacking was cool. They sold these devices to students. $50 each. This was Steve's first business. He was 16 years old, and he was already breaking rules. But here's the pattern you need to see. Steve was never normal, never obedient, never satisfied, and that's exactly why he succeeded. If you're the weird one in your family, drop a fire emoji right now. This story is for you. But what happened next almost destroyed Steve forever. Keep watching. 1972. Steve goes to Reed College in Oregon. Remember that legal paper? You must send him to college. His adoptive parents kept their promise. They spent their life savings. Every single dollar. Show, tuition bill. Reed College was expensive. Very expensive. And after 6 months, Steve said, "I quit." Wait, what? His parents sacrificed everything. And he just quits? Yes. Here's what Steve said, exact words. "I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I could see my parents spending all their money on something that seemed pointless." So Steve dropped out. No degree, no plan, no safety net. He slept on floors in friends' dorm rooms. He walked 7 miles across town every Sunday for one free meal at a Hare Krishna temple. He collected Coke bottles. 5 cents per bottle. That's how he bought food. The man who would later become a billionaire was digging through trash for bottles. Let that sink in. Quick question. If you were Steve's parents, how would you feel? Your son quits college after you spend everything. Comment angry or understanding. Let's see what this community thinks. But here's the twist. Steve did something strange. He stayed at the college. Not officially, just hanging around. And he took classes he loved. Calligraphy class, the art of beautiful writing. Everyone thought he was crazy. Why are you learning fancy handwriting? That's useless. Steve didn't care. He followed his curiosity. Remember this moment. 10 years later, this useless class will make him a billionaire. I'll tell you how. Keep watching. 1974. Steve travels to India. He's searching for meaning, searching for answers, searching for himself. He shaves his head, wears orange robes, meditates for hours. Show! Before slash after photos concept. He goes to India confused. He comes back focused. He realized something. Life is short. Too short to waste on things that don't matter. Time to build something real. Steve visits his old friend Woz. And Woz shows him something incredible. A small computer, built by hand, in his spare time. Remember, in 1976, computers were huge. They filled entire rooms. They cost millions. Only governments and universities had them. But Woz's computer was small. It could fit on a desk. Steve's brain exploded. He saw the future instantly. He said, "Woz, we have to sell these. This will change everything." Woz said, "Who would buy a computer? Nobody needs computers at home." This is the difference between Steve and everyone else. Everyone saw a circuit board. Steve saw a revolution. Everyone saw a hobby. Steve saw a billion-dollar industry. Everyone thought small. Steve thought impossible. What's your billion-dollar idea that everyone calls crazy? Comment it below. Someone in this community might help you build it. Steve convinced Woz. They needed money to start. Steve sold his Volkswagen van. Woz sold his HP calculator. Total, $1,300. That's it. That's all they had. They started in Steve's parents' garage. Steve's dad cleared space, gave them tools, believed in them. Day and night they worked, soldering, testing, building. April 1st, 1976. April Fool's Day. Apple Computer Company was born. 2 friends. 1 garage. 1 insane dream. But here's what nobody tells you. Success came fast. Too fast. And it almost killed Steve. The next part of the story will shock you. Don't click away. Fan 4. Han Trin Ton Som, with drama and modern parallels. The Apple I computer. 50 people bought it. Just a board with chips. Nothing fancy. But Steve was not satisfied. Never satisfied. He said, "This is ugly. We need to build something beautiful. Something your mom would want in her kitchen." This was revolutionary thinking. In 1976, nobody cared if computers looked good. They just needed to work. But Steve was different. He wanted perfection. 1977. Apple II launches. This computer had a real case. It had color graphics. It looked friendly. And it exploded. Year 1, $1 million in sales. Year 2, $10 million. Year 3, $100 million. Wait, did I say 100 million? In 3 years? From a garage? Yes, that's exactly what happened. Steve Jobs was 25 years old, and he was worth millions. The college dropout who collected Coke bottles was now richer than his parents ever dreamed. He bought a mansion. He dated famous people. Magazines wrote about him. But here's the problem. Success revealed Steve's dark side. Steve became a tyrant at work. He yelled at engineers. He told them their work was garbage. He made grown men cry in meetings. One employee said, "Working for Steve was like being in an emotional blender." Another said, "He could destroy you with one sentence." Steve divided people into 2 groups, geniuses and idiots. No middle ground. Be honest. Would you work for a boss who yells at you but builds revolutionary products? Comment yes or no way. But here's the thing. Steve's obsession created magic. 1984. The Macintosh computer. Remember those calligraphy classes? The useless, beautiful writing? Now it mattered. The Mac had gorgeous fonts, multiple typefaces, elegant design. Steve connected the dots. He said, "If I never dropped into that calligraphy class, the Mac would never have multiple typefaces." This is the billion-dollar lesson. Trust your curiosity, even when it seems pointless. The dots will connect later. The Mac launched with the most famous commercial in history. 1984 Super Bowl. It showed a woman throwing a hammer at Big Brother. The message: Apple is fighting against IBM, against conformity, against boring computers. People went crazy. The Mac sold like magic. Steve Jobs was on top of the world. Age 30, successful, famous, powerful. And that's exactly when everything collapsed. 1985. The Mac was not selling enough. It was too expensive. It had technical problems. The Apple board was angry, very angry. They called Steve into a meeting. John Scully, the CEO Steve himself hired, said, "Steve, you are the problem. You are too difficult, too demanding, too crazy." And then they voted. The board of directors voted to remove Steve Jobs from his own company. Fired, kicked out, banned from his own building. The man who started Apple in a garage. The man who built it from zero to hundreds of millions. Gone. Steve said later, "I was a public failure. Everyone knew. I felt like I let down the previous generation of entrepreneurs." He thought about leaving Silicon Valley forever, maybe starting a new life somewhere else. For months, Steve was depressed, lost. His identity was Apple, and Apple did not want him anymore. Imagine you build something for 10 years, then they throw you out. Would you quit or fight back? Drop a flex biceps if you would fight back. Let me see your warrior spirit. But then something clicked in Steve's mind. He realized, I still love what I do. They can fire me from Apple, but they cannot fire me from my passion. This is when Steve said the most important words of his life. Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that ever happened to me. Wait, what? How is getting fired a good thing? Keep watching. This next part will change how you see failure forever. Steve started 2 new companies. Next Computer, building advanced computers for universities. Pixar Animation, a tiny animation studio nobody cared about. Everyone in Silicon Valley laughed. Steve is crazy. 2 companies after failing, he will lose everything. But Steve did not care about opinions anymore. He had nothing to lose. 1995, Pixar releases Toy Story, the first completely computer-animated movie. It was magical, beautiful, perfect. Box office, $373 million worldwide. Steve was back. When Pixar went public, Steve made more money than he ever made at Apple. The failure became a fortune. Meanwhile, Apple was dying. Without Steve, they lost direction. They made boring products. They lost customers. They lost money. In 1996, Apple was 90 days from bankruptcy, 90 days from death. They needed a miracle, and the miracle had a name, Steve Jobs. 1997. Apple bought Next for $400 million. And guess who came back as CEO? Steve Jobs returned to Apple, not as an employee, as a savior. He was 42 years old now, older, wiser, hungrier. The fired founder was back to save his dying company. And what he did next changed technology forever. Steve cut 70% of Apple products. He simplified everything. Then he launched the iMac. Colorful, translucent, beautiful. It was a computer that looked like candy. People loved it. Apple was saved. But Steve was just warming up. 2001. Steve walks on stage. He reaches into his pocket. 1,000 songs in your pocket, he says. The iPod. Music became portable, personal, beautiful. It sold millions, then tens of millions. But Steve had a bigger dream, much bigger. January 9th, 2007. Steve walks on stage in his black turtleneck. He says, "Today, we are introducing 3 revolutionary products: an iPod, a phone, and an internet device. These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. We are calling it iPhone." The crowd goes insane. No keyboard, just a screen. You touch it with your finger. People waited in lines for 3 days to buy it. 3 days. The iPhone changed everything. How we communicate, how we work, how we live. Here's the crazy part. Today, there are over 2 billion iPhones in the world. That's one iPhone for every 4 humans on Earth. The device Steve created is in your hand right now. You are holding his dream. Think about that for a second. Then came the iPad, the MacBook Air, the App Store. Each product was not just technology. It was art. Apple became the most valuable company in the world. Then it kept growing. Today, $3 trillion. The most valuable company in human history. But Steve paid a price for all the success. A terrible price. And this price holds the most important lesson of all. Keep watching. We are almost at the secret that changed everything. 2003. Steve goes to the doctor for a routine checkup. The doctor finds something bad. Show, medical imagery, serious tone, pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest cancers. Doctor said, "You have 3 to 6 months to live. Get your affairs in order." Steve was 48 years old. He had a wife, 3 young children, and he had so much more to create. Most people would give up, would accept death, would stop working. Not Steve Jobs. Show! Death is life's greatest invention. Steve Jobs quote. Steve said something profound. Death is the single best invention of life. It clears out the old to make way for the new. He decided to fight. Surgery, treatment, diet changes, and he kept working, creating, leading. In the 8 years after his diagnosis, Steve gave us the iPhone, the iPad, the App Store, the MacBook Air. His greatest innovations came when death was chasing him. Why? Because he knew his time was limited. Every moment mattered. Every decision mattered. Every product had to be perfect. Emotional music builds. This brings us to the 3 life lessons. The secrets Steve learned. The secrets that can change your life today. Lesson number 1. You cannot connect the dots looking forward. B-roll. Calligraphy class, Mac fonts, timeline connection. Remember the calligraphy class? It seemed useless, a waste of time. But 10 years later, it made the Macintosh beautiful. It gave Apple an advantage nobody else had. Steve said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward." Here's what this means for you. Maybe you are learning English right now. It seems slow, hard, pointless. But 5 years from now, this skill will open a door you cannot see yet. A job, a relationship, an opportunity. Maybe you failed at something last year. It hurt. You feel ashamed. But that failure is teaching you something you will need for your next success. Trust your journey. Trust your curiosity. The dots will connect. Always. Show. Comment prompt. What useless skill are you learning right now? Comment below. Let's see how many future billionaires are in this community. Lesson number 2. Getting fired was the best thing that happened. Steve was fired at age 30. Humiliated. Destroyed. But that failure freed him. At Apple, he was stuck. He had to maintain. He had to play politics. After being fired, he could start fresh. Try new things. Take risks. He said, the heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your biggest breakthrough will come right after your biggest breakdown. Your greatest success will rise from your most painful failure. Maybe you got fired last month. Maybe your business failed. Maybe someone rejected you. Good. Now you're free. Free to rebuild. Free to create something even better. Type comeback if you are rebuilding right now. Let's support each other. Lesson number 3. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. 2005. Steve gives a speech at Stanford University. He ends with these words. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Stay hungry means never be satisfied. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep pushing. You achieve something? Good. Now achieve something bigger. You are comfortable? Dangerous. Comfort kills greatness. Stay foolish means take risks. Try crazy ideas. Do not worry about looking stupid. The people who changed the world were called crazy first. Steve was called crazy. Elon Musk is called crazy. Every innovator is called crazy. Here's my question for you. What crazy dream do you have that you are afraid to start? What are you hungry for but too scared to chase? Comment it right now. Make it real by saying out loud. Because here's the truth. Your crazy idea might change someone's life. Maybe millions of lives. But only if you start. October 5th, 2011. Steve Jobs died at home, surrounded by his wife and children. He was 56 years old. The world stopped. People cried. World leaders sent messages. At Apple stores around the world, people left flowers and candles. They wrote thank you notes. Why? Because Steve was not just a businessman. He was an artist, a rebel, a dreamer. He showed us that one person with passion can change the world. He proved that being different is not a weakness. It is a superpower. Today, Apple is worth $3 trillion, the most valuable company ever. Over 2 billion people use iPhones. Everything you touch has been influenced by Steve's vision. Touch your phone right now. That's his legacy in your hand. Steve was adopted. He dropped out of college. He slept on floors. He was fired from his own company. He faced death, but he never quit on his vision. And that is the most important lesson of all. Your circumstances do not define you. Your response does. Your past does not limit you. Your courage does. Your failures do not finish you. Your persistence does. So I will ask you one final time. What will you create? What will you build? What impossible dream will you chase? The world is waiting for your gift. Do not let fear stop you. So here we are. You now know the real Steve Jobs story. Not the perfect hero. The real human. A man who failed, who got fired, who faced death, but who never stopped creating. From garage to $3 trillion. From sleeping on floors to changing the world. From rejected to revolutionary. And here's what I need you to understand. Steve was not special because he was born special. He was special because he refused to quit. Now it is your turn. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. Choice number 1, close this video. Go back to your normal life. Forget everything you just learned. Choice number 2, take action. Start something, change something, become something. Which door will you choose? Here's what I want you to do right now. Action number 1, think about your biggest dream. The one that scares you. The one you tell nobody about. Got it? Good. Now type it in the comments. Just one sentence. Make it real. Start with I will and finish the sentence. I will start my business. I will learn to code. I will write my book. I will change my life. Action number 2, smash that like button if this story inspired you. Here's why this matters. YouTube shows videos with high likes to more people. You're like, help someone else find this story. Someone who needs it today. Someone who is about to quit. Someone who feels like a failure. Someone who needs hope. Your one click might save someone's dream. So do it now. Hit that like button. Action number 3. Subscribe to MindSpeak and turn on the notification bell. Why? Because every single week, we bring you stories like this. Stories of people who failed and won, who struggled and succeeded, who were told no but created yes. Next week, we are covering someone even more controversial than Steve Jobs. Someone who was kicked out of their country, lost everything twice, and still became a legend. You do not want to miss it. So subscribe right now. Join this community of dreamers, fighters, and believers. Action number 4. Share this video with one person. Just one. Think about someone in your life who needs to hear this today. Your friend who just lost their job. Your sister who wants to start a business but is scared. Your cousin who thinks they are too old to chase their dream. That person who is about to give up. Send them this video right now. It might change their life. And now, as promised, Steve's secret morning routine. The routine nobody talks about. The routine that made him a genius. Every single morning, Steve Jobs stood in front of the mirror and asked himself one question. If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And if the answer was no, too many days in a row, he knew he needed to change something. This is the secret. This one question. It forced Steve to live intentionally, to focus on what mattered, to cut out the noise. So here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you do anything, look in the mirror. Ask yourself Steve's question. If today were my last day, would I want to do what I am about to do today? Do this for 30 days. Just 30 days. And watch how your life changes. Watch how you start saying no to distractions. Watch how you start saying yes to your dreams. If you accept this 30-day challenge, comment, "I accept" right now. Let's do this together. Let's hold each other accountable. Before we end, I want to tell you something personal. I created MindSpeak because I believe in you. I believe you have greatness inside you. I believe your story is not finished yet. You might not build a trillion-dollar company. That is okay. But you can build something meaningful. You can impact one life, 10 lives, 1,000 lives. You could be someone's Steve Jobs, someone's inspiration, someone's reason to keep going. Steve Jobs changed the world with computers and phones. But you can change the world with kindness, with teaching, with art, with your unique gift. The world does not need another Steve Jobs. The world needs you, the real you, the brave you. So I leave you with Steve's 3 most powerful quotes. Read them slowly. Let them sink deep into your soul. Quote number 1. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Quote number 2. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Quote number 3. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. This is Tony from MindSpeak. Thank you for spending these 20 minutes with me. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for believing that your dreams matter. Remember, Steve started in a garage with $1,300. You have the internet. You have knowledge. You have this community. You have everything you need. So what are you waiting for? Drop your dream in the comments right now. Smash that like button. Subscribe and hit the bell. Share this with someone who needs it. And I will see you next week with another story that will blow your mind. Until then, remember, stay hungry, stay foolish, and never, ever give up on your impossible dream.